Alright, welcome back. So the next thing I want to talk about in this video is how we can start to balance the sides of our track. And to do this, we're going to need to use the patcher plugin to separate the mid signal from the side signal. And if you haven't created this patcher mid-side EQ yet, I would recommend that you do that so that we can separate the mid channel from the side channel. Once you do create it, you can disable the mid channel by right-clicking on this little routing thing here, and it will kind of dim out, and that's how you know that you only have the side channel. Now we can listen, and now both are muted. Let's bring the sides back in, and we could do that with this MSED plugin, but this has no EQing option. So once we mute the mids, let's look at our EQ. And unfortunately, no signal comes through on our EQ when the mids are muted. Let's bring the mids back. And so we either just have to listen to what the sides sound like and try to balance it that way, or we can use this other plugin called BX Solo, a free plugin you can get online, and it allows you to solo the sides, but it brings the sides to the middle so that it shows up on our EQ. It's a little counterintuitive, but as you'll see, we can actually see the side signal on our EQ now. I'm going to disable patcher. So this is our side signal. I'm going to bring the mids back in here, and if we wanted to start EQing out the sides, we would have to go into the side EQ and start taking out anything that we don't want. So let's look at what we have. Created here. So we have a lot of information on the sides here, which our reference track doesn't have. There's actually no sub in the low end here. So what I would do in my EQ is I'm going to change this to a high pass filter, take out the lows, and right now it's on our master, so I'm actually going to move that onto our bass here. So we would have to grab it from our patcher, which actually has our mid-side EQ, drag it onto our first track here where our bass is coming through, and now we are cutting out the lows on our sub. And most tracks actually do this. It is very rare to see side information on your subs, so that's kind of standard. And then let's take a look at our kick too. Is there kick on the sides, and how does it compare to the reference track? So yeah, once again, there's very little kick. And now let's just actually isolate this even more. Let's turn this back to 120, solo this section here, And let's listen to our reference. So there's a little bit of low end in around 136 hertz. How about ours? Going to pull up BX Solo again. And we'll have to mute our tracks. So now we have very little information coming through on the sides on our low end sub. How about our kick? Let's bring this over, and then we're gonna load up a new instance of our patcher. And it seems like since we mute the sides, there's no signal coming through. It looks like our kick is very mono, which is what we want, because when we listen to our reference, there's no kick in the sides. So now let's take a look. Our track, and I'm just gonna listen to the entire thing. And then listen to their bass. And that sounded pretty close. So what I want you to do this week is keep working on the track that you did the mid balancing for, and now I want you to go and analyze the sides and see how close you were to leveling your sides, and then go create a patcher tool and start to EQ where you could boost or maybe lower parts of your bass and kick.